10 Best Movies About Space Exploration. Space exploration movies have the power to grip audiences more than many other genres because they speak to the deep human sense of wonder and trepidation. As the world gets more connected and less mysterious, outer space represents the few mysteries still remaining in our universe. The scale of the cosmos lends itself to stories of both optimism and despair, and space exploration movies can be science fiction or more realistic dramas. 1902's A Trip to the Moon shows that space exploration has been a part of sci-fi cinema since the dawn of film. Although movies have gotten longer, more complex, and more sophisticated since the time of George Méliès, the basic idea that space holds untapped riches and strange creatures is the same. The best space exploration movies can inspire a sense of awe and majesty, but they should also tell a grounded human story. Ad Astra was a box office disappointment in 2019, and it received some mixed reviews. It may have come too late in the astronaut movie boom of the 2010s, and it doesn't offer the same adrenaline-fueled thrills as many similar movies. However, Ad Astra is an exquisite slow burn for fans who can resonate on the same wavelength. It's not for everyone, but it's a haunting, atmospheric movie that lingers in the mind. Ad Astra is still underrated, and it deserves more fans who can appreciate it for what it is. The references to 2001: A Space Odyssey are clear, but it also takes inspiration from Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. Ad Astra synthesizes these two influences into a futuristic story that still feels timeless and deeply human. Brad Pitt delivers a subtle but captivating performance as a man venturing out into the cosmos to find his father. Gravity was an immense box office success, and it's the kind of movie that's best enjoyed on the biggest screen available. A portion of Gravity's success can be attributed to the fact that it came at the peak of the 3D screening craze, and it utilizes the technology for maximum impact. Sandra Bullock stars as an astronaut who must improvise to survive alone out in space after a catastrophe kills her crew. It's a survival movie of rare spectacle and grace, but it clocks in at roughly 90 minutes, so it's over in one dizzying flash. Alfonso Cuarón keeps the pace at a frantic high throughout Gravity, and he helps to create an immersive atmosphere as Bullock's character faces one potentially fatal setback after another. It's a survival movie of rare spectacle and grace, but it clocks in at roughly 90 minutes, so it's over in one dizzying flash. The scientific accuracy often stretches the limits of credibility, but this doesn't take away from the sheer entertainment value that Gravity has to offer. Solaris is based on the seminal sci-fi novel by Stanisław Lem, which also got an English-language adaptation starring George Clooney in 2002. While this version has its merits, Andrei Tarkovsky's 1972 original is generally seen as superior. It's a beguiling story about human nature and reality, which uses its sci-fi concept to explore everyday philosophical puzzles that everyone encounters. Tarkovsky's Solaris isn't designed to appeal to everyone. It's far too ponderous and introspective for that. However, its slow pace and thoughtful ambiguity means that it's still deeply rewarding over 50 years later. It helps that Solaris is also beautiful to look at without indulging in stargazing. It takes place on a spaceship orbiting a distant planet, but Solaris reframes Earth and the human experience so that the audience can see them with fresh eyes. Movies about astronauts and space exploration are generally focused on white men because these characters mirror the most famous real-life astronauts. However, this image tends to ignore the contributions of women and people of all other races. Hidden Figures attempts to redress this oversight by telling the story of a group of real-life Black women who worked at NASA in the 1960s. Hidden Figures tells an important story, but it does so with enough creativity and heart that it remains entertaining throughout. A lot of its appeal is down to the superb cast. Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer and Janelle Monáe all deliver some of their best performances, while Kevin Costner shines in a supporting role. Hidden Figures is replete with gorgeous retro charms, but it also offers a more realistic portrayal of the era that doesn't gloss over the inequalities of American society. Apollo 13 tells the true story of a group of NASA astronauts who had to reroute their lunar mission after an oxygen tank exploded in their capsule. It's one of the most tense and exciting chapters in NASA's history, and Ron Howard's movie tries to stick to the facts as much as possible. This means that a hefty chunk of the dialogue is taken directly from the mission transcripts. Apollo 13 proves that real-life space exploration can be even more thrilling than heightened sci-fi. Apollo 13 has often been praised for its accuracy, both historically and scientifically, and this helps to create an immersive atmosphere in Howard's claustrophobic thriller. Tom Hanks is in sparkling form as Jim Lovell, but the rest of the cast is just as important. Apollo 13 is an intelligent movie, knowing how to emphasize the tension of its story, and it proves that real-life space exploration can be even more thrilling than heightened sci-fi. The Martian was a controversial winner of the Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy, since some critics thought it shouldn't even be eligible for the category. There's nothing funny about the plot of The Martian, in which an astronaut is left to fend for himself on Mars after his crew leaves, but there are moments of comedy throughout the movie. Matt Damon's charming performance is a key element of this. The Martian is one of Ridley Scott's best movies, even though it's decidedly more upbeat than the sci-fi movies, which first established his reputation as a master of the genre, Alien and Blade Runner. The Martian is a life-affirming comedy drama that speaks to the potential of large-scale collaboration. This is something that space exploration has always emphasized, and it's inspiring to see The Martian's portrayal of human unity. Christopher Nolan has developed a reputation as a master of cerebral, spectacular blockbusters. Not many directors are able to get such large audiences to grapple with complex stories and lofty themes, but Nolan's movies are usually packaged with popular actors, gorgeous cinematography, and intense action to give them a broad appeal. Interstellar is a quintessential Nolan movie, and it sums up so much of what makes him a unique director. Interstellar's unorthodox time travel plot and its deeper meaning give it plenty of rewatch value. Interstellar's unorthodox time travel plot and its deeper meaning give it plenty of rewatch value, as do the tense scenes of space travel. As with many of Nolan's movies, there's a great ensemble cast, with Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, and Matt Damon all on top form. They provide the human element to a movie that could otherwise careen off into fanciful territory. Interstellar's reputation keeps improving each year. WALL-E is one of Pixar's most ambitious movies for a few reasons, primarily that the main character is a largely silent robot, and there are no words spoken for an extremely long time. This places extra emphasis on the visual storytelling and the atmosphere. Somehow, WALL-E excels in both regards, providing moments of humor and deep pathos with incredibly restrictive techniques. It's a gorgeous technical marvel that also offers plenty to think about. WALL-E is arguably one of the best animated movies ever, and it proves that animation has as much emotionally resonant power as live action. The robots are more sympathetic than the humans in WALL-E, suggesting that technological dependency may strip humanity of its true essence, and that space exploration mustn't overshadow earthbound concerns. It's a gorgeous technical marvel that also offers plenty to think about for a children's movie. As Pixar ramps up its production of sequels, WALL-E seems likely to remain a standalone movie, but it shouldn't be forgotten. Many movies about space exploration present an optimistic view of reaching for the unknown and working together to overcome the impossible. Alien reflects on the potential horrors of the cosmos, humanity's hubris, and the grinding brutality of massive corporations. It has influenced sci-fi horror movies for decades, but it still holds up today despite being imitated and blatantly ripped off. Ridley Scott's tense, nervy horror works so well because the alien is constantly changing its form. It's an enigmatic force of destruction with malice, running right down to its core, as seen by its corrosive blood. Subsequent Alien movies have never quite managed to recapture the shock of the franchise's first movie. The terrifying added layer is that the Weyland-Yutani Corporation sends its workers to capture the alien without informing them of the danger. Almost every other movie on this list owes a debt to Stanley Kubrick's 2001, A Space Odyssey. It has helped shape the space exploration genre more than any other movie, both aesthetically and in terms of its thematic exploration. Some allusions to 2001 are obvious, like Wall-E's artificially intelligent villain or Ad Astra's journey across the solar system hitting the same stops. Other movies merely take the atmosphere and the sparse shot composition for the outer space scenes. Some of 2001's most startling imagery isn't meant to be interpreted as much as it's meant to be felt. 2001, A Space Odyssey opens at the dawn of humanity, tying space exploration to other seismic evolutionary leaps. To recreate this sentiment, the story ends with the dawn of new possibilities and meanings which can barely be understood. Some of 2001's most startling imagery, like the multicolored wormhole, the sterilized hotel room at the end of the universe, and the gargantuan space baby, isn't meant to be interpreted as much as it's meant to be felt. Kubrick is intelligent enough not to predict the future, but 2001 is timeless for its ambiguity, a potent cocktail of intrigue and fear.